Joseph has a choice. Either I fall into the seduction and I go ahead and click on it and see what happens, or I do something else. And this is what happens with Joseph. But he refused. With me in charge, he told her, my master does not concern himself with anything in the house. Everything he owns, he has entrusted to my care. No one is greater in this house than I am. My master has withheld nothing from me except you, because you are his wife. How then could I do such a wicked thing and sin against God? He didn't say, how can I sin against Potiphar? How can I sin against you? His eyes were fixed on God. His eyes weren't fixed on what this girl is trying to sell him. His eyes weren't fixed on, how can I get my satisfaction first? How can I kind of go into this urge to say, you know what, I'm going to sin anyways, or I might as well do it. His focus was on, who is God, and is he important in my life? His eyes were fixed on God. And then it goes on to say, and although she spoke to Joseph day after day, he refused to go to bed with her or even be with her. He decided to actively stop being around her. Even though he would walk in the room and she'd go, Joseph! He'd just keep on walking. He didn't care. He would just keep on going where he was going to do and do his thing. He was ignoring her. He actively tried to stop himself from even being in contact with her. Because he knew the more he stayed in contact with it, the more he's going to fall into the temptation and possibly sin against his God. He actively stopped that. One day he went into the house to attend his duties, and none of the household servants was inside. She caught him by the cloak, and she said, come to bed with me. But he left his cloak in her hand and ran out of the house. Okay? So what happens? He goes in, and she goes, I'm tired of you ignoring me. I'm going to go on. I'm going to actually physically come to you and grab you, and then grab the coat, and he just goes running out, and he leaves the coat behind. Rule number 1, don't leave anything behind. Okay? You leave something behind, you're going to get in trouble. Okay? So make sure you get out of there. But here's the thing, what he did. He ran. He had integrity. Integrity is what? What's integrity?
Standing up for what you believe in.
Standing up for what you believe in, no matter what the world is saying. Also, doing what is right when no one else is looking. No one was in the house but her and Joseph. No one would know that he had sex with Potiphar's wife. No one would know. It's just between them. Therefore, he had to stand up for what he believed. He had to stand upon something that wasn't based on himself. And that was God and what God has to say. The last part of it, what happens? Potiphar's wife then screams, rape, rape, he just tried to attack me. And next thing you know is everyone's coming in. What's going on? Joseph, he came in, he tried to rape me. She's torn her clothes, she's looking like, oh, and all these people going, what's going on, what's going on, what's going on? And then they tell Potiphar. And Potiphar has him thrown in jail. Because of what she alleged him to do, because she had the evidence. Here's the coat. Now, it doesn't seem fair. He did what was right. He stood up for what he believed in. He had integrity. He did what God wanted him to do. And yet now he's thrown into jail? Last part of that. He put him in prison, but while Joseph was there in prison, the Lord was with him and showed him kindness. Even though amidst all the problems, what we're going to have to know, one thing you got to believe and understand this, is the world is going to try to hurt you and try to make you fail. Yet when you stand up for God, you will not fail. Even when the world says you are, even when the world says you do, you won't fail if you stand up with God.